Okie dokie, so I'm going to continue on from last session in setting up the login system. We did the authentication and now we're going to get the users working. So I'm going to create a new folder called users. In the users folder, we're going to create a new file called functions. This is .js, this is all on the back end still. We're going to start off in the functions.js by setting up MongoDB. So const mongo client equals require MongoDB, and we need our URL. In here, we're going to create a function that checks if a email already exists in the database. And if it does, it'll return false. If it does exist, it's going to return true. And if it doesn't exist, it's going to return false. So we can tell if a user's already being created with that email address. So we're going to do async function check email exists, and we're going to pass through an email as an argument to that function. We also need to make sure we're exporting it, so it's a public function. So export equals check email exists. We need to make our database connection, so our client is new Mongo client, passing through our URL to the database. Our database is client.db, and the database we're using was, I think, ISL, all caps. Our collection is going to be database.collection, and it's going to be the users collection. And now we need to figure out how many documents there is with that email address. So we can do count is await collection dot count documents, and we're going to pass through the email, and we'll return count is greater than or equal to 1. Alright, that's that set up. In our so in here we're next going to set up the registering. So we're going to create a new file in here called index.js. In this case, we're not going to have a register page because we don't want people just to be able to sign up for it. We want to kind of restrict who can sign up for it. So as part of the registering, we're going to authenticate the token as well. Or a token is going to have to be passed for the registering to take place. So we're going to set up the all the variables we're going to need. So express crypto.js as well. Crypto.js. We need to bring in the user functions or the functions from this file. So we can do var user functions equals require /functions. We also need our auth functions. Require, and in this case, it's going to be // so auth /functions. And that's all we need for that one. So we'll do a router.post on the slash, and then it's going to be an async function with a request and a response. So I don't forget to do it, I'm going to add in my module.exports equals router. We're going to wrap it with a try catch, as we always do. In the catch, we shall output that error, so console.log the error, and do res.status 500. JSON message will be an error occurred when creating user. Right. In here, we're going to do var token equals request.headers, and then it's going to be the authorization token. We're going to pass the token, so we're going to do if auth functions dot authenticate token, and that token that we've received. So if the token is valid, it's going to do it. We're going to enter this, so this will be token valid. If it's not, we can return back an error. So we'll do res.status 500.json with a message of you are not signed in, and we'll say logged in is false. All right. We're going to say var email equals request.body.email, and var password is going to be crypto.sha512, and passing through the request.body.password, converting it to a string, creating our database connection. So we're going to say, we're going to check if the user functions dot check email exists, pass for the email. If that's true, we can res dot status 500 and let them know that that email is already in use. Else, our new user is awaits collection.insert1. So we're creating a one user with that email and password. If new user dot acknowledged, so if it's been successful, we can res.json a message of user created. Else, we can do the same thing, saying an error occurred when creating the user. Alright, so we only need this auth bit here if we're wanting to have it so that the generic person requesting this can't load the page. Alright, so that's it done, so that we have a kind of login system. We're going to need a way of identifying users so we can kind of get their emails and show those details on on the page as well. So we're going to do that at me.js in here as well. So in the users folder, we need that at me.js file. In here, this is going to return information about the user, so they can request their own information, such that we can show like their username in the top right hand corner. Need the OR functions as part of this, so we need to do an async function which takes in a request and a response. It's also going to do a async function. Sorry, we need to give the function a name of get me module.exports, and we export that get me function. So we do a try catch and console.log error .100. Right, in here we want to authenticate their token first off, so we know that they are logged in properly. So var token equals request.headers square brackets authorization. If auth functions dot authenticate token, passing through that token, if it's valid, that'll be a valid token here. Invalid token. We can do res.status 403.json message you are not signed in and logged in will be false. If they have a valid token, we can get their email, so we can do var email equals auth functions dot get email from token from auth, sorry, and pass through the token. We can make our database connection. Because the user should only appear there once, we can just pass through the email and do a find one on it. We do delete me.password, so that'll get rid of the password, so we're not returning that back, and return back me. Alright, we need to get that to actually be visible on the front end or on the API, so we've got to add it, go into the users index.js and make it visible. So we also need to import it. So router.get /@me. We use the request and the response, and we send that to the get me function. All right, so that's most of the bits done on the back end. Just to get the login system working, we next need to actually set up the environment variable for our secret token that we were going to use. So with that, we need to run a command to get it to run. So on your computer, you should be able to do Windows key and Node.js. It should bring up a command line that looks something like this. In here, we can type stuff. All right. So we're going to just run the command in this command line. And that gives me an answer back out of it. So you do Windows key Node.js. As long as you've got Node.js installed, we should be able to run it. And that lets me just run the command there in the command line. So I'm going to copy that. In my back end, I'm going to create a new file called .env. Oh, without the weird bracket at the end that I've now put in there. And it's going to be token underscore secret equals that big string that I just generated. So that's my secret token. All right, I should now be able to do one last thing in my app.js. We need to import stuff. So this users router, I need to change to users/index. I also need a var auth router is require /routes/auth and app.use auth is going to be our auth router. I need to put that on R at the end. All right, if I go into my backend now, I should be able to open it in an integrated terminal and do npm start. Cool, I get an error. And that is on requires middleware but got a function, and it is in, it's going to be one of the files. So I'm going to check my auth file. In here I forgot to do exports. Exports dot module.exports. There we go, and that runs. At the moment it's not going to restart if I make changes, so I'm just going to do into my package.json and do node mon here. I'm also going to do npm install node mon as well, so that's definitely installed. Cool. Start. There we go. Cool. So I should now be able to log in. Obviously the front end isn't set up quite yet, so we're going to just make the initial setups for the front end. So I'm just going to check my reference material. Cool. So we're going to go into our source file on the front end. I'm going to close off all these JS files because I don't need them anymore. The source folder on the front end, and we've got a bunch of files. We're going to get rid of all of them, but the main.jsx file. We're going to keep that one. In here, I'm going to remove these. So I've just got my so I've got the strict mode bit. I'm going to do a star. So we're going to import everything as React from React. I'm also going to import everything as React DOM from React DOM clients as well. We also need to import create browser router and router provider. All of these from React router DOM as well. It might be some squiggly under lines because I've declared these and not used them. That is fine. In here, I need to do const router is going to be create browser router, squiggly bracket, square bracket, enter, squiggly brackets, and then I'll do path slash for the minute, and we'll set the element as just a p tag or for the moment. A bit further down, we can get rid of what we got there, and we can do React DOM dot create root document dot get element by ID root. At the end of the line, we can do that render React dot strict mode and router provider router equals router slash end line. So I should now be able to go right click my front end, open an integrated channel, and do npm run dev, and it runs, and I should have a screen that says hello world. So that's working. Cool. So if you remember from the tutorial, our home page was going to be something that kind of gives details about the company's website. We'll just do a basic kind of thing for the moment with some cards and spinners and stuff, and then we'll get something a bit more complicated set up for the staff. So we'll do a new file a new folder called roots, and a file in there called index.jsx. We're gonna I'm just gonna edit my main for a second. I'm gonna add in this line here. So this is importing Bootstrap quickly. If we do it there, we don't have to keep doing it within the different files that we're going to create. So by doing it here, just so it kind of sets it. My index.jsx, I'm going to make sure it's inside that roots folder as well, because it wasn't inside that a second ago. All right. I'm going to do export default function index. And it's going to return a web page essentially. So we're going to do a container. We need to do some imports at the top first. Import from React Bootstrap. Let's see if that's going to let me auto import other stuff. Is that then going to let me do row? Yeah, it is. Cool. So I can have my row and my columns cool. There we go. So how to do this? Because I like using cards, I'm going to do this with a card. We might have a card image source is going to be something. card.body, card.title, alarm response, I don't know, and let's find us an image. Let's see if you can find an image of like, I don't know, a guy in a security guard or something like that. I don't know, this one. I'm just going to steal this image, copy the image address, and making sure it's ending in that. Card.text, we respond to alarms. I'm not worrying too much about this site at the minute. I'm not making it too complicated. I'm going to import this into the main, so in the slash, instead of this p tags I've got, we can do index. Halfway through typing it, I hit enter, so it imports it, and there we go. We've got the image in. I'm sure you can do something a lot more interesting than I can. I'm just kind of getting something in for the minute. I'm going to add in a navigation bar as well. So I'm just got on the other screen the there we go, nav bar. We'll add a nav bar at the top as well. So above my container, we're going to do a nav bar, expand on large There we go, got a nav bar kind of appearing at the top there. I'll put the link to this bit in the description of the video. I'm just going to bring it in because it's just going to be a lot easier if I just bring in the nav bar and then start adjusting it from there instead of writing it all out. I need to import nav and nav drop down. There we go, nav bar appearing. I'm going to get something to appear on the right hand side so that we can let people sign in. Will that appear on the right? Yeah. Have a navbar link there. See if we can have a couple navbar links at the end to see if there we go, we'll call that one staff login and that one customer login. There we go, and the other ones I'm going to get rid of these ones here and I'm just going to put it's secure limited. There we go, staff login, custom login. Right, staff login is going to go to /staff and the customer login is going to go to customer. We'll do slash staff slash login slash customer slash login. So we're going to let the people log in at different places. There we go. 404, that's fine. 404, that's fine. Cool. So that will be that for that video, and then in the next one we're going to set up the staff login page.